Greetings. My name is Louis L. Guibet, a global activist working on pressing issues for climate change, for peace, for strong institutions, and also supporter of the 17 pillars for global, national, and local development. So, with a pre recording of today, with a key focus on the celebration of the Day of the African Child, and then dating back what happened to the thousands of students in South Africa. So, during the apartheid regime, we understand that students face too much marginalization. And with that, we understand that the role play of students was at a pivotal journey because these are African students that lay their life down, and these are students that die within the strive of their advocacies. So, with this Day of the African Child being celebrated on every June 16, so today we are here with a pre-recording to tell the flowing of the different informations and how they will be channeled. So on the 16th of June, we will be celebrating the Day of the African Child. That's the day that students of Africa feel that they should be treated the way in which the whites were treated, and not being treated as if to say they are different when it comes to the educational space. Because by then, they weren't granted the way for quality education. And we see that there were lapses in the educational scope in the educational sector for Africans. So when Black decided now to stand up for the cause and in making sure that their voices be heard on the global platform, on the global stage, they stood against these different things concerning the apartheid. And then this regime of the apartheid regime wherein blacks were being separated from white, they were not allowed to sit in the same space for educational purpose, for training, for seminars, for symposiums. We understand that the intelligence of blacks were going low because there was non-access to these different things, right? So their space was being limited to only understanding the things around them. So how will black explore the different things that they have if the space is not being provided? So on this day now, with the message I call across that Africans need to be treated fairly, and by right there should be a clear distribution of the things that they should benefit. So this is how they stood up to the different calls of the white, and they said no, it has been a very long time that this has crawled into our society, so we'll no longer accept this to happen in this modern society. So we understand that on that day there were thousands of students that were being killed because they stood up for transformation, they stood up for reformation, they stood up for things that could change the entire thing about students' life in Africa. So on this day, we look at the life of these students, we look at the way in which they press up, and we also look at the success stories. So there is this one thing we always understand that in revolution, those that starts revolution at the end they are not always the beneficiaries of them, but then the road has been laid, the transformation is there as a legacy or as an evidence. So if a system is to be revitalized like the students of or South Africa did on the 16th day of June, in making sure that they stand up to these things that the white were doing to them on the baseline of aid treatment and a lot of struggles and sufferings they went through just to acquire quality education that we today are benefiting. So with the blood and sweat of these African students today, we can purely say that quality education has been quite across the continent of Africa, and not just Africa alone, but in the diaspora and other places. So like we said, there's a pre-recording and we'll be bringing series of info to you as it relates to updating the public on global, national, and local things that trend to undermine the society and are also trend to foster peace and transformation in global society. Thank you once again. I have been Luis L. Guerra.